Hello and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest Bethesda news, rumors, and speculation, and again, I have quite a few interesting and recent things to talk about in today's video. Everything from the Elder Scrolls 6 to apparently Bethesda advertising Mass Effect stuff now accidentally, and a few other interesting and noteworthy things. On top of this style of content, I'll also be doing other content on Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6. I'm currently working on an Elder Scrolls 6 speculation video based on Daedric artifacts, and a few other interesting things, so if you're interested in that kind of content, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you're still subscribed, because I've been seeing a lot of people in the comments saying that they've randomly have been unsubscribed by the algorithm or something and had to resub multiple times, so for some reason I've angered the algorithm, so make sure you're still subscribed. But let's not waste any more time, and let's get to today's news and information. And this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a week or so, but I've been busy with all the other news and content, and according to ye old YouTube thinks that the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be released in 2026, which low-key actually makes sense. Actually, not even low-key. That's a phrase that doesn't make any sense in this circumstance. 2026 makes perfect sense and is actually when I would expect the game to more or less come out, especially if Starfield will have DLC and expansions and stuff, which no doubt it will, because it's a space game, which means that it no doubt has a lot more opportunity and capacity for DLC and expansions and stuff, basically just more added content. And an interesting thing here is YouTube did predict that Starfield would come out in 2021 a couple years ago, then it just randomly removed that, and then it said 2022 like a month before E3 2021, which, was this year. So, I don't know if YouTube has some kind of inside guy over at Bethesda. No, they don't. I'm joking. Absolutely not, they don't. They probably just changed it to what made the most sense. Unlike just generalized search engine Google results, maybe YouTube actually has someone where they just put in a projected release date. I don't think that would make sense either. I don't know exactly how this gets filled in. Maybe it's just based on Google search results, because, YouTube is owned by Google, but I felt like it was interesting enough to share with you in today's video. Do I think you should take this as any kind of information or credible thing? No, but the Starfield release date was accurately changed on YouTube to 2022 before it was announced at E3 2021, so I figured that I would just really quickly share this with you all today, just in case it does mean something and YouTube is now an oracle or something, I guess. Next up, Bethesda accidentally the stairs, or more specifically, the official Bethesda Twitter account and apparently Facebook account accidentally posted this a few hours before I recorded the audio for this video today on July 14th. And you can see it says the official Bethesda gear store would like to introduce you to the Mass Effect N7 stripe button-up shirt. For days that call for a bit of formality mixed with more than a bit of love for Mass Effect. Okay, I do love Mass Effect, I guess, but I think that you didn't mean to do this. Apparently this got posted twice on Twitter and taken down immediately each time, and it was posted at least one time over on Facebook as well. And obviously this is an accident, right? They took it down right away. Obviously Mass Effect has nothing to do with Bethesda, but for those of you who don't really know the background story behind this is confusing as hell. It's so confusing that you can see some journalist websites actually just immediately ran with the story and said that Bethesda's Mass Effect tweet confirms the multiverse has collapsed. This is so hilarious. But the actual explanation is that the people who run the Bethesda Gear store also run the merch store for a few EA franchises such as BioWare and Mass Effect. So the social media manager or employee accidentally posted something on the Bethesda page, the Bethesda account that was meant for the BioWare account. They both begin with the letter B, so maybe that makes sense, but this is the actual explanation for this, and well, we will probably not get any 100% confirmed statement from an official capacity about this. This scenario is the most likely case here, but this is hilarious. The multiverse is collapsing, or Starfield is actually just a Mass Effect reboot. I'm kidding about that. That would not make me mad, I guess? But the next thing I want to talk about in today's video, super quick, super duper McPooper scooper quick, is someone named named apparently Dry Mivir 1 or something, or this person's Scorpwind over on YouTube. I don't know who the actual OG of this is because both people seem to be credited with this. Maybe that's the same person and they just have two different accounts with different names and they don't have the same name across all their accounts. But they took the E3 2021 Starfield trailer and upscaled it using Smooth Video Project 4 to 60 frames per second and to 4K apparently. But the 4K thing confuses me because I already have an actual native 4K copy of that same exact trailer, and you can actually watch that on some channels on YouTube right now, like GameSpot. I believe also the official Bethesda trailer is 4K as well, but I don't believe they're 60 frames per second. And yes, it does look a little bit better, and yes, the game probably will almost certainly be played in 60 frames, especially with the Microsoft exclusivity here. But nonetheless, there are a couple of like anomalies and just hang-ups because of the AI upscaling that was used in this. But nonetheless, this I guess is a closer look, with all the little glitches aside, to how Starfield would actually look when we have it in our hands, as long as you have something that can play at least 60 frames per second. Hopefully I'll actually be able to play this in like 120 frames plus, or who am I kidding? It's a creation engine game. I'll probably be lucky to do 30 to 60 frames, even with my awesome computer, unless the creation engine 2 is just that much upgraded, which, I mean, we can only hope, right? Another thing I want to talk about super quick is people are no doubt obviously comparing Starfield to the Outer Worlds 2, because they're already comparing what Starfield might be to the Outer Worlds 1, and one interesting thing that I just want to say real quick is Starfield will come out, and then Avowed will come out at some point, and Avowed is kind of Obsidian's take on a fantasy RPG universe similar to Skyrim. It's set in the Pillars universe, but it's still their fantasy first world RPG. So their first fantasy world RPG will be coming out kind of around the same time, most likely, as Bethesda's first sci-fi space RPG. And then The Elder Scrolls 6, which is Bethesda's fantasy RPG, will come out around the same time when Obsidian's sequel to their space sci-fi RPG will come out. This is just like a flip-flop scenario. As they release one genre, Obsidian releases another, and I just thought that was interesting. That isn't really news. Why am I talking about this? But what is news is, according to, I guess, a recent interview with the Washington Post, Todd Howard has said that the main person responsible for the ZeniMax acquisition with Microsoft was Robert Altman. He says that the past year and a half was further marred when ZeniMax founder Robert A. Altman suddenly died in February of 2021. Sadness reverberated throughout the company, just like the shockwave sent by one of Altman's final achievements. While talks had taken place on and off for years, Altman had been instrumental in the sale of ZeniMax and its subsidiaries to Microsoft for $7.5 billion. He drove the deal, Todd Howard said, and I just thought this was super interesting. And I mean, it makes the most sense, but one thing you gotta keep in mind here is almost every single person within ZeniMax, within Bethesda, within all the Bethesda studios, anyone who has any experience or dealt with Altman in any way, have always said they respect him and he was super friendly. So he had nothing but the best intentions for Bethesda and their employees and the company itself. So he no doubt believed that this was a great move by Bethesda, and I think it would be kind of dumb to argue that this is not a good move. $7.5 billion, permanence within a very large technology giant. I mean, it was a great move by Bethesda, all exclusivity aside. And then the last thing I want to finish up with today's video, I'll drop a link to this down in the description below because I don't want to take away from all their work here, but someone recreated the Western Watchtower in the Unreal 5 engine, which looks super good. And this just shows you just how accessible this engine is to whatever you want to do with it. A lot of people say this engine is a great and accessible game engine, and I mean, this just looks amazing and already gets me hyped because no doubt The Elder Scrolls 6 will look at least this good by the time it comes out. So this could low-key be a bit of a look into the future of what The Elder Scrolls 6 could look like, and I think that's freaking amazing. But that's going to finish up everything I want to talk about in today's video. As always, if you enjoyed the content, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn notifications on. And if you want a permanent future video shout out at the end of every single one of my future videos, you can support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. That list is finished. I'm actually able to put it up now, but I'm going to put it up this weekend. That way, if anyone wants to get a final chance to get added to the permanent list that will be featured at the end of every single one of my videos, you can support the channel now. All you gotta do is just support the channel on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links to all this and more are down in the description below, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when this Western Watchtower Unreal 5 thing already has me wanting to replay Skyrim all over again.
it just works.